This week in Warhammer News, we're looking at the kill team rules, we're looking at some beefy, big old orcs, and Lord Duncan has a special announcement. I'm Angela, you're watching Hobby Night. Let's go ahead and take a look at this week's Warhammer News. Let's talk first about Lord Duncan and the fact that he is blessing us with a brand new paint line. That's right, he has a brand new logo that he announced recently, and one of the things he's using that logo on is a new paint line for model painting. And I'm really hyped for this. We don't know anything about it quite yet. We should be getting some news hopefully soon. I'm definitely going to be keeping my eyes on it, but it's a new acrylic paint line, I am assuming, and I'm super hyped for it. I can't wait to see exactly what it's going to be and how easy it might be to get and exactly how it compares to existing lines. Next up, let's take a look at Castellan Crow of the Grey Knights, the Purifiers. He's back. He's looking amazing. That new miniature looks super cool. I especially like the design that they did for his haunted sword with all the smoke and stuff coming off of it. That's going to be super fun to paint. But my biggest takeaway from this announcement and them showing this model off is hopefully this means that we're finally going to get some word on when the Grey Knights Codex and subsequently the Thousand Sons Codex might be coming out, because they announced that box a while back. They announced the codexes back in May, but we haven't really heard anything about them since, so I'm hoping this means we'll actually get some news over the next couple weeks and going, hey, you can pre-order it at this date. That would be lovely. Hey guys, if you are enjoying this video, make sure to hit that like button and let me know about it down in the comments. If you haven't already and you're wanting more content, make sure to subscribe to the channel and hit that bell icon for notifications. And then if you want even more hobby goodness, make sure to follow me on Instagram or Twitter at hobby_night. Now, let's go ahead and get back to the video. All right, let's go ahead and talk about Kill Team, you guys, because they're dropping a whole bunch of rules and I've been looking over them. And honestly, it has me really excited because it's feeling very much like you can get very narrative oriented with it. You can really focus on the characters and stuff, and I'm super into this. There are a couple of weird things and we're gonna go over them. In particular, movement is now designated using shapes, and it's a little strange. I'm sure it's gonna be a little bit weird getting used to, but I do see some of the benefits from it, especially when it comes to the fact that they are designating some of them to also be used on terrain. So for example, ladders are going to use a circle, which I believe equals a 2 inches. And that means that if you've got a big, tall, like Necromunda terrain or something that you're using in your kill team environment and it's got a ladder on it, it's not gonna take your models a ton of turns to get up to the top. They can just go that 2 inches up the ladder. And I feel like that is going to streamline a lot of things. And I think that is the general idea as to why they're using these shapes. Because if you look at the rulers that are coming in the Octarius box set, they also have a lot of these shapes on the edges to indicate for fast reference, hey, this is a 2 inch side, this is a 1 inch side, here's your 3 inch and your 6 inch. And I think while the shapes are weird, I think it's gonna be beneficial, honestly. I like the fact that the game seems like it's able to speed up, which means that more people can get more games in. And if you're, say, on a lunch break or something at your job, and maybe you've got a half an hour to an hour, you can maybe play a game or something and still eat lunch and all of that. And that would be really cool because that just means more people get to play the game. But movement isn't the only change. We're also going to have action point limits, which most things seem like they're going to have 2 action point limits, but they have indicated that Space Marines and maybe some other things might have more. And this is just what you can do on your turn with your designated unit and everything like that. Wounds are a lot different, which is really exciting. There's a lot more of them. So that means that things are going to last a lot longer. It's going to mean that there's a lot more like diversity in what you can do and where you can like move to. I think there's going to be a lot more strategy because your just models are going to stick around more because they last longer. Plus, ranged combat has changed very drastically. No longer is there a range limit on most guns. Now there are some still, but those are all designated in special rules and everything, and they have, they use the shapes and everything to indicate what the limitation is. But everything else, the only thing that's actually stopping you from shooting something now is going to be line of sight and whether or not your model can actually see their target. And I actually think that's really cool. Again, it eliminates some unnecessary measuring that slows things down, and it's gonna speed the game up. So I think it's a pretty solid change. And The special rules do actually seem really neat too. Like for example, one of the flamers have this torrent ability. So when you end up targeting something, instead of it being like an unlimited range, you can then target all around it in 2 inches and hit everything around that target like a flamer would, as you would expect it to. So it feels very thematic and these rules to me make sense. So I'm pretty excited for them. And close combat has also changed. And this I really, really like because to me, it feels very board game-esque and I actually very much enjoy that. It makes Kill Team now really feel like it has its own identity. So let's talk a little bit about how combat has changed. Basically now the way that it works is both opponents will roll their dice simultaneously and then starting with the attacker, they will designate how they want to use their dice and then vice versa and it'll go back and forth. And what you can do with them is either attack or parry, which will cancel out the attack. And this gives you a lot of diverse choices that you can end up making and how you want to use your models based off how many wounds they may have left, how many wounds the model that's attacking them or that they're defending against may have, and how you want to pull out those, use those criticals and stuff like that, and compare them with the special abilities that some of these the close combat weapons may have, because they also will have some. It's really cool. It actually makes it feel like a duel, and I like the fact that armor is no longer a factor when it comes to close combat. I don't know, I really, really like these changes for Kill Team, and I can't wait to get my hands on the box because I just want to see how it's different and I want to see how many more people start playing it because I'm super, super interested and I hope that my friendly local game store's Kill Team League really bounces back once events start coming and everything, because I'm very interested in picking up this new edition and playing with them because they were really enthusiastic before. I'm hoping they're excited about this one. If any of you guys are in the comments, let me know. But let me know what you guys are thinking about it because I, for one, really want that box. These rules seem really cool, plus the new models look awesome. All right, let's go ahead and talk about the Orks. And the first thing that I want to talk about before we get into any rules is the fact that the special box set for the Beast Nagas that went on pre-order yesterday is already sold out. That was kind of expected. I'm not really surprised by this. Hopefully you can pick some up through your friendly local game stores, or if you were lucky enough to get one on pre-order through Games Workshop directly, awesome. I just hope that those boxes get released separately soon. I'm hoping I get my copy when it arrives. I'm very excited about it. Let's go ahead now and talk about how things have changed for the Orks because my goodness, are they getting beefy and are they getting very shooty? Waahgs, let's talk about that because Waahgs have changed and it's really cool actually. I think they're pretty neat. There are 2 Waahgs that you can run now instead of just the one that was previous, and they come in 2 stages. Each stage lasts a full round and the second stage does not begin until the first one ends. Makes total logical sense. So what do? Well, you can either run a standard Waahg, which will affect your Orks or Ork characters, and it will give them a, let's see, I wrote it down just to make sure that I got this correct, a +1 attack, and it also gives you advance in charge, which is fantastic. Now that all happens in stage 1. Stage 2 is just a remainder of the +1 attack. But by that point, hopefully you got in on your charges and you're into those models, and so you can just continue whittling them down. It seems pretty cool. Now the other option is a Speed Waahg, and this one is going to affect primarily your vehicles and bikes, and it gives them basically advance and shoot without penalty and a +1 AP. And again, that happens all in stage 1, and then stage 2 will just be the remainder of the +1 AP. But again, these both seem really great. They have one obviously designed for your shooting list and for your melee list. I think it's gonna be a lot of fun and I like the diversification there. Shooting has gotten a whole heck of a lot better. They have a new rule called DACA, and it's basically on most of the guns, it seems like that, and it basically gives you 2 profiles for the guns based on the range that you are towards the target. If you're at half range, you get more attacks, and if you're at a longer range or your full range, then you get less. And this is really, really terrifying because it just means that your boys alone can just be shooting a lot more. So there's just a lot more dice flying, which means there's a lot more potential for criticals and all that kind of stuff. Things are gonna die a lot faster, I think. It's gonna be a lot of fun. So I'm really excited about this new DACA rule, and We also really need to talk about the new Ramshackle rule, because vehicles have changed a lot as well. Ramshackle has basically completely changed, and most vehicles will have it, and it's pretty cool. Basically, what it does is you subtract 1 from the damage received if you are getting attacked by a weapon that is strength 7 or less. If it's more than that, then it's, normal, but otherwise you basically subtract 1. Makes them a little bit more durable, makes them last longer, and I think it's a pretty fun change. Now, we need to talk about the Beast Nagas, because not only did they talk about your standard orcs, but they also had an article about the Beast Nagas in particular, because their box went on pre-sale this weekend. Again, it's gone already, but we kind of knew that was going to happen. What I took away from the Beast Nagas article, because they covered a bunch of different things, trying to spread it out and cover honestly bits and pieces from a lot of different stuff, is that 1, they're tougher than your standard orcs, which we kind of already knew going in. They sort of focused on the boys and the Squig Herd boys, or Squig Hog boys, sorry, I said that wrong. And they're all both at strength 6, so they're a little tougher than, or a little stronger than your previous guys. Also, for me, I really, Zogrod is still a must model for me. His Squig Stoppa ability that basically allows you to halt a monster from an enemy, I don't think, it may not be super useful across all armies because you may not be fighting a lot of monster heavy, foes and everything like that, but when you do and you get to stop a Tyrannid creature or something in its tracks, that's gonna be super sweet, and I just love the idea of it. Plus, I still adore that model with all of that hair. It's just fantastic. And I just, he's so cool. And I'm especially excited because the box is on sale, like I said, and I have had a poll up on Patreon where basically it's been determined that a Xeno army is what I'm going to be building next, and orcs look like they might be the winners. So I'm going to be possibly painting up a lot of orcs soon, and I hope you guys are excited because there's going to be a new series tied to it. And if you want to help affect some stuff that happens on that series, you can join the Patreon yourself at the Hobby Night tier, where you can end up voting in these polls and everything, like the people who have helped me choose my army this far. I'm super hyped for these guys to come out. I hope that you guys are too, because honestly, everything with the orcs going forward that they've been showing us, between the models, between all of the new rules, everything seems super cool. And I'm really hoping that next week, because the focus for all the kill team rules was kind of towards the veteran and guardsmen and everything like that, that maybe we'll see some of the commando stuff for the orcs, which will also just give us an idea of what the orcs are going to be like in all of these new models and how they might be used in kill team as well going forward as they're releasing, in a few weeks and everything like that. So I'm super hyped about all of these green boys. Let me know what you're thinking about them down below. Last but not least, GW surprised us with the announcement of the Age of Sigmar starter sets, which I'm glad to see because I criticized them when they had the Dominion launch and didn't have that already in the pipeline to tell us about. I'm super glad to see that they're around. We're getting 3 just like we got with Indominus, and they're going to come in a couple different tiers. I don't remember specifically what the model breakdown was, but I know that the key difference between the 2 big boxes is that you get the exact same model count in them. The main difference is that you get extra terrain in the biggest box, which I really like the terrain in that set. It looks super cool. If I do end up picking one up, because it would just be duplicate models of what I got in my Dominion box set, it would really just be for that terrain. So I do hope that they don't take super long to separate it out and allow for people to pick up that terrain just separately, because I really think it's awesome. All right, that has been it for the Warhammer news. Thank you guys so much for watching. I wanted to give an extra special thank to my patrons for supporting us and allowing for this to be made. Also, I wanted to go ahead and remind you guys that Friday we're going to be having a brand new board game video, which I'm super hyped for, and it's going to have a brand new cool sponsorship that I'm really excited for. So I hope you guys are looking forward to it. Anyways, I have been Angela. You guys have been watching Hobby Night. Thank you so much, and I'll see you next time. Bye.